well. He looks tired, and he's not himself. Maybe I would get quite impatient and would get tired very easily, and all that influence my dealings with people. Whereas now I can concentrate more. I have more stamina, and I feel better. And of course, after doing exercise, I go to Pilates. I do Pilates twice a week, and that helps me to relax and have some extra bodily movements. At my age, I'm 70 now, so I'm pleased that I'm able to do these things at my stage. No?
Thank you so much for your story, Victor. Or Thomas, I mean. I see Victor still on the screen here. Victor, are you still there? Can you turn on the microphone?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, let me see here. Yes.
So we actually do have a little bit of a similar question to you. Okay. What has changed for you after surgery?
After surgery, everything. After surgery, I was able to play with my kids. I was able to be a normal person and go to the regular store and get the t-shirt that I want, and not only the white or black one. I was able just to roll around the ground with my kids, insemination with my wife. Everything changed. Everything changed. So 100% positive, nothing negative.
Okay. We saw some pictures a couple of minutes ago from you before surgery, and if I look at you now, you wouldn't even recognize you when you would walk down the street now. I mean, I have that similar thing. Yeah, those are the pictures. Are these your kids as well?
Yeah. This is Victoria. She's 9 right now. She's turning. She already turned 18 years old.
Wow.
Yes. So, yes. I mean, it's unbelievable. I was before surgery. I was a professional basketball player. I was playing one of the biggest team in Argentina, which is Atenas. I played Argentina basketball team too. And then I went to play in Chicago, in Central High School, and after that season I get my weight. I earned my weight. So yeah, I mean it's a big difference. It's wonderful.
It is funny that that Thomas just mentioned his health, etc., and that he lost all his pills. But the funny thing is actually that you say something that many people say. I did it for my kids. I can now run around again. I mean, I'm much more how do you say fun dad for my kids. You can go to of course you can buy clothes, but it's especially this, that you can buy clothes like everybody else in other shops.
Yeah.
I cannot, of course, personally relate, but these are the things that many people mention indeed. Are there also negative sides? You said everything is positive. I can't imagine. There must be things also that are on the negative side, right? What did you come across?
Well, just to answer all those questions, like what's going on with you, dude? Like, are you do you have cancer or what's going on? But that's not negative. I can make fun of that and just follow around with them. But negative is like you have to learn how to live with this kind of stomach, like dumping stuff, like choose what you eat, choose what you want to eat protein, get sweet stuff is not good for me. my favorite food was raviolis, and right now I cannot eat any more pasta because I get dumping. So that could be the negative part of the surgery, but I don't know if that really negative part, you know. Which
It is what
now,
many people are afraid of, right? So the dumpings that everybody asks about, can I eat normally? Can I do the dumpings? But in total, in your opinion, those little side effects, those negatives, fully are outweighed by the positives.
yeah, actually, tell you what, you can get drunk with what piece of chocolate, so that's positive, right? Like you understand, like I mean, you can make your own decision, like turn those negative things, a lot of things, to positive things, like healthy, apnea, the sueño. I have no idea how to say apnea.
Sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Uh, um, I don't know. It's just walk around, enjoy green spaces, go to the gym. Nothing. I don't see nothing negative. You know, like well,
So
I mean, of course, from the beginning, the first month, second month, I was just saying, hey, I want to go back. I want to go back to the to the other picture. You know, I couldn't drink a lot of the water and all that stuff, but everything is for me right now. If you think everything is positive.
So, Victor, we're hoping there are many people out there hearing us and hearing your story. And there are a lot of people, let's say, suffering in silence with obesity, being bullied, being stigmatized, being blamed for their condition. You've got a really success story that you should be proud of. To be able to keep the weight off after so many years after the surgery can only be achieved by an individual who's committed to the changes the surgery would enforce on them. So, Victor, what would you tell people out there who are scared to talk about their condition, who are scared to go and not see a surgeon in particular? They can go and see any physician. What is it that you would tell them? What is it that triggered you that you might share with them for them to consider taking the same steps that you've taken?
If they're afraid, you saying that if they are just thinking about to get the surgery, right? And they're afraid of that?
Not necessarily the surgery, just to go and see someone to seek treatment or help for obesity.
Okay. I would say that obesity is a sick like enfermedad.
Disease, yeah.
Disease.
Yeah, this is, and it's something like you have to take care, and it's nothing just to be shy. It's nothing that you have to hide. It's something that you have to take control and make action for it. You know, like take the bull by the horns, and you will be the happiest person in the world as soon as that you make that decision. You know, like well, I'm very open. You know, like I can talk. I'm not shy. I'm not, but I would say it's just nothing. Just make the first step and go and talk, because it's something that you have to resolve. It's something that you cannot hide. It is right there, and it's a problem. So if it's a problem, it has to be somehow some way to resolve it, right?
Yeah.
And I did try it a lot of times to do diet and but how I resolved it was with the bariatric surgery, right? I don't know if I answered your question.
You have, because it was the same question I asked Thomas earlier. I'm sure you would have struggled with dieting, losing weight, regaining it for years before you took that decision. And at one point you probably felt hopeless, felt that things are out of your control. And the same question I'll ask you, I'll ask for Thomas. Any regrets for doing the surgery?
I'm sorry? Say it again.
Do you have any do you have any regrets from doing your surgery?
No regrets. No at all. No at all.
Are you back to playing basketball?
Oh yeah, I'm playing basketball.
Which position?
I play two. Number two.
Okay.
A guardian? No. Yeah.
Shooting guard. Yeah.
Yeah, shooting. Yeah, I was big. You know, when I always play and I was big with the gym. You know, I was like a tank. You know, the bam. But after that, that's only probably the negative thing that you get skinny and your head thinks that you're still bigger like you was, but you're not. So you have to just to find out and just realize that you are like not that big anymore, not that huge. So, but yes, I play basketball. I can run. I can walk like 45 minutes, and like it's the best things that I have been done in my life.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That is great.
Yeah, because I don't know where I was, and that's in this time if I would continue with that happy party, you know, gordito feliz, and that was that.
Victor, let's talk also the side effect, because we got a internal hernia after his surgery. It was a obstructive complication. Do you remember that moment? Even though
yes,
problem, you will also choose again the surgery?
Of course, yeah. That could happen. Well, I don't know if it could happen anyway if I had surgery now, but I don't think that that's something that's life. You know, I don't say that's because the surgery or because this, because that. Actually, if you can think about it, probably it's worse just to be the way that I was, and not that little surgery that I had. You know, actually surgery like could be a lot worse. Just be that big and have a lot difficult situation like blood pressure, heart attack, or unhealthy. Just unhealthy.
All right, thank you.
So perhaps a question for Thomas, because he's been viewing
Yes.
us all the time. You've had a good team around you, Thomas, prior and post surgery, but us as healthcare professionals, how could we help our patients the best? Let's say, what tips and tricks do you have for us as healthcare professionals?
Well, in my own situation, I felt that with Dr. Fernandez, he took a keen interest in my situation. And when we would meet, he would call me by my first name, as would his secretaries at the desk who allowed me to go through to his consultation rooms, and the dietitian. We had two dietitians, and they would always call me by my first name. And of course, they had my chart. They knew who I was, and they took a keen interest in me. And maybe to make a phone call ever so often. Maybe I know now you're busy people as surgeons, but maybe to give a phone call. Make a phone call to your patient and say, well, I'm thinking of you. How are you getting along? Is there anything I can do for you? These are small little details, no? But I felt that at the hospital where I was operated on, I was taken care of in a professional way. So I have
Right.
no complaints, and I felt that they took a keen interest in my situation. And
So
even now,
I'm not trying to find the flaws in Pedro's work, but what I do notice you telling me is the personal touch. That was
Yes,
very
personal
much
touch,
appreciated,
yes.
right? So
Yes.
you're not a number. You're not a number as a patient. You are Thomas in your case. Yes. So
Yes,
that's
exactly.
tip number one you're giving us. And tip
Yes.
number two that you give back to us is keep in mind indeed that we're sometimes quite busy. If we do surgery on, let's say, 1,000 patients every year, then after 5 years we have 5,000 patients that I have to give a call. But I do agree with you that even after so many years, it's good to hear from your surgeon, or at least a surgical team, perhaps with a postcard or something. Might that be something that you would appreciate as well, or an email or whatever?
Yes, an email. Yes, Pedro has been in contact with me for different motives in the last couple of years, and I appreciate the confidence as well. So maybe yes, or through your secretary, because you could say, well, during the pandemic, when at the school here, our school was closed, and every day we phoned 5 families. We have 1,015 pupils. So we would phone 5 families every day, and they would say, oh, what do you need? No, I don't need anything. I just want to find out how you are. So it meant maybe 15 minutes of my time getting in contact with these people. So it's a decision now that you have to make. Well, I'm going to spend twice a week 15 minutes calling my patients, and especially those who would appreciate a phone call.
Right.
Definitely.
That is a very good suggestion. That is a very good suggestion. In my case, I often already do. So, but it's something
sure,
that
yes.
that we could do better indeed.
Definitely.
Can I ask you if you had? I mean, you've been around for a couple of years now with surgery. Whenever you have a question, who do you call?
Well, I have been back to the hospital for different motives, and I would always visit Dr. Fernandez and Pedro. And no, I haven't phoned anybody as such. No, I didn't. No, I never did as such. About my own health, no. About the surgery, I didn't phone anybody in those 5 years. No. But I did make up a phrase.
Yeah.
I made up a phrase which I'm going to share with you. It sounds better in Spanish because I made it in Spanish. It said, "The secret of life is to die young, being as old as you can, adding more years to your life and more life to your years."
Wow.
That is deep, Thomas. That is deep.
It is deep.
Excellent.
You speak, ¿alguien sabe español? Do you speak Spanish as well, some of you?
Yes.
Pedro, el secreto de la vida es morir joven lo más tarde posible, dando más años a la vida y más vida a los años.
Thank you.
It's for you, Pedro. Yeah, okay.
We will translate that later and
Okay,
put it on a plate.
in proper English. Sometimes my English is bastard English now, because living in Argentina, I have acquired a lot of Argentinian phrases that I find difficult at times to translate into proper and correct English.
Your English is perfect, sir.
Yes.
Well, at times.
So I want to ask you the same question, Victor. What tips and tricks do you have for us as healthcare professionals? You have to put on the mic again because it's still on silent, on mute.
I'm sorry about that. What tip? I don't know.
I mean, you have a big conflict of interest because you're related to the surgeon here. We appreciate that.
I'm sorry.
Just pretend that nobody's here.
But
let's
I think
say your own surgeon.
Right,
as well.
let's rephrase it, Edo, if you excuse me. If you're going to tell your surgeon to do something different, what would you tell him?
I don't know. I'm like, what I will tell them.
Yeah, if you go through your experience one more time, what one thing you would like changed?
I will love myself a little bit more and take action.
And for your doctor or your medical team,
To my
what would
doctor,
yeah,
they've been doing great. They've been doing great. Awesome. I mean, really professional. I was able to talk to them. I was the nutritionist, psychologist. The whole team was wonderful, and it's a big support.
Victor, can I ask you, who's older? Is it you or Pedro?
Oh, he's over. Of course.
Ah, that's why.
Yeah,
I'm
he's over.
the best basketball player also, right?
Now we know the reason why.
fair enough. So
No,
guys,
also-
one of the main things we would, one of the messages what we're trying to spread out is, can you talk us through some of the challenges you had in life, not in your health or with yourself? Some of the challenges you had in life, going to the shops, going perhaps to work, when you had obesity and you were struggling with obesity, what were the main challenges that you faced?
Victor or Thomas, anybody?
Anybody?
Oh, well, yes, my situation was when I would go visit my family back in Ireland every 3 years, I found it difficult to stay quiet in the seat on the plane. I would be impatient and moving around more, and the seat was, I was inclined to be crammed into the seat. And sitting down, I found it difficult to stay sitting at conferences. I would sleep. I would just fall asleep, maybe not because I wasn't interested in the subject that was being treated, but just because of my weight problem. I would get drowsy, and then I suppose I was inclined to open the fridge more often and tempt myself to small bits and pieces, ham and things that I shouldn't be eating, processed meats and so forth. So the biggest problem, I suppose, was that I would get tired very easily during the day, and which made me irritable, and I wasn't rendering as I should, and people noticed that I would get impatient maybe more readily with people, and now that has changed. My attitude to life has changed. I feel that I have a better quality of life now, and in having acquired that, I'm happier as a person. And I say, well, no, I'm going to live my life more orderly now and live it to the full.
And Thomas, would you ever say that? Oh,
Victor had to
sorry,
leave.
Victor, you want to say something? Sorry, Victor.
Victor.
I'm sorry. I have to leave. I have to. If not, I'm going to lose my plane.
We don't want you to lose your plane.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. And
Thank you for joining us, Victor.
Appreciate your time.
And thank you to do this kind of job or this kind of surgery.
Thanks, Victor.
Have a wonderful day.
Safe
Take care,
travels.
Victor. Have a
Take care.
safe flight. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye
Safe flight.
bye.
So the question to you, Thomas, was, were you at any point made to be feel responsible for your condition? Were you ever meant to be belittled or feel that part of the reason why you had obesity was your own wrongdoing? Because this is one of the challenges we have, I'd say, amongst our community as healthcare professionals. A lot of the physicians or healthcare professionals we work with believe that this disease is caused because someone just can't be bothered to watch what they eat or exercise more. Were you ever in that situation, Thomas?
Yes, I was indeed. I felt that I was completely responsible for it, and because I would start to diet and go and meet a nutritionist and maybe pay 2, maybe 4 visits and not more, and spending money, and she would prescribe tablets for me, and I would be taking these special tablets and different powders and mixtures that I would take, and making special soups, and but then I realized that they weren't working. I was just fooling myself and spending money on something that didn't work really, because it was a makeshift effort, you know. So yeah, and the other problem was the time. I knew that if I had surgery, I had read about the surgery before, but it said you needed time to do it, that it was a prolonged process, and that you had to be prepared for it. Now, a few years before my surgery, I had read about bypass surgery, but I wasn't prepared mentally for it. No, because of the time lapse, how long it would take, the post-surgery diet frightened me in the beginning, and that I would be on liquidized food, and of course I said, if I'm having that, it's because I'm ill, you know, and I didn't want to admit that I was ill. It's a denial. I think that we deny the fact that it's an illness. Obesity is an illness. It's a sickness. So it's like alcoholism. When we admit that we have a problem, well, it's the first step to recovery. So it's when we realize it, well, our attitude changes, you know, and my attitude changed.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for that. Yeah.
That's nicely put, Thomas. I don't think I could have put it in any better way. You're absolutely correct. And so what is it, what message would you tell for those people out there listening to us? Because the same question I asked for Victor. Now that you've lived for years with obesity, you've seen the struggles, you've seen the challenges, its impact on your life, and then you went through a surgery at not a so young age with all the potential risks. Yes, you've managed to flip your life 180 degrees. So what is it that the message that you'll give to those out there listening to us?
Well, the first step is make a decision to visit your physician and confide in him and say that you're not living your life to the full. You haven't got quality of life. You are alive, yes, but it's not quality of life. It's not life to the full. So normally your physician, or your medical team will advise you and give you suggestions of where nowadays in nearly every country in the world you have a bypass surgery. So I'm sure that if you take an interest in it, well, it's the first step. I think it's 50% of the battle to say, no, I am overweight and I'm going to do something about it now. Because sometimes we put it on the long finger. We just postpone it, and life gets worse. Our health gets deteriorated. So make a decision. Say, well, I'm going to consult my doctor, my physician tomorrow. Not to postpone it. Not to wait until after St. Patrick's Day or Easter. Now is the time.
Just do it.
Just do it, yeah. And you will be a happier person. And I'm sure that the medical team that will take care of you will know how to accompany you and treat you accordingly.
And Thomas, for those out there who believe they are suffering with obesity because of their own wrongdoings, what would you tell them?
Well, these people usually are over 35, maybe 40 years of age. So it's a sign of maturity to say, well, this is my reality. Face reality and say, well, I'm of age now, and I should be honest with myself and say, well, when you're a child or a teenager, people will give you orders, your parents, your tutors, your teachers. But when you're standing on your own 2 feet, you have to take responsibility for your own actions and for not doing anything about your health. So when you're over 35, well, you have to face the consequences. But I think the first step is to have an interest in the subject, read about it, be well informed, and consult a physician. Because people will say, oh, no, you're going to suffer, you'll be hungry, you will feel terrible. No, don't listen to quacks. Go and visit your surgeon or your physician, and he will give you the proper advice. And act your age. Sorry for being blunt.
But I thought you said we should die young and live long.
Die young, as old as you can. Yeah.
There you go. I'll try to remember it, Thomas.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe one more question. To those who do not suffer from obesity within the society, any message you would deliver to them, Thomas, on how they look upon people with obesity? Sometimes you face the stigma. Anything you want to change and send a message to those people as well?
Yes. The fact that they take an interest in the person that's beside them, usually it's a family member or friend. Well, if it is a family member or a friend, I'm sure there's a certain amount of confidence that would allow the person to say, well, why don't you take a little bit more care about your health? And sometimes when we're in a public transport, we allow these people to stand and who have overweight problems, who have weight problems, and maybe, allow them to sit down. Now, I have done so on 2 occasions in public transport, and I allow these people to sit down, and I come closer to them, not now during the pandemic, and I thought, well, I was in your position some years back, and I was overweight, and I had bypass surgery. And they take an interest. Usually, you know who you're dealing with. Sometimes people don't want to enter a conversation, and more, well, they will listen to you if you do it respectfully. Now, the most important thing is to have respect for them, not to feel pity for them. Just be respect. And if it is a person that has already gone through surgery, well, I'm not ashamed anymore of saying it. I tell people, my friends especially, I've told a good number of them, why don't you take better care of your health? They might look at you strangely, but in the end, I'm sure they will appreciate it. Now, I have a friend who hopes to go to visit Pedro quite soon, and I'm convincing him. I said I'll go with him for the information evening, and so it's one way of facing the reality, and not being blunt, being respectful, and tell them, well, why don't you take better care of your health? I mean, you as physicians, when you meet a patient, you have to be blunt with them. You have to tell them the truth, because patients like to be told what their situation is. Don't tell me lies. Don't cover up, because it makes it worse.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I agree.
I think overall this has been amazing because of your contribution, Thomas, and Victor's as well, and all the members of the committee. I really enjoyed myself, really enjoyed listening to you as well, and your story, as well as Victor's. And I'm hoping your story would actually make others seek help, definitely, especially those who are hesitant to visit their physician, which is
Yes, yes.
the main aim of what we're doing. And hopefully we can do it more often and involve more patients and more people along the way. I really want to thank you, Thomas, and thank everyone. Please, any final message all along the board? We'll start with you, Thomas.
Well, when Pedro told me about this initiative, I said, well, count on me. I feel that as a patient, I can make a contribution, and I did so willingly today. And whenever you feel that you need to help somebody else or give them my phone number, my email, I will make sure that they will get an answer, because it's important to listen to other people who have gone through with this surgery, and that they're happier with their life now after surgery. And I would like to congratulate you also, all your professionals who take an interest and who have become very professional in your task, because it meant that you had to do postgraduate studies. You traveled, I know Pedro's traveled to other countries to perfect his profession. So all this goes to show that you also, as a medical team, take an interest in the person's health, in people's health. So I congratulate you as well for the effort you make, and your patience and your knowledge, of the subject, because you're top class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thomas, you are top class. It takes great courage, great selflessness to share your experience and talk to us here and talk to others. So you are top class. I'm humbled by being with you. I'm humbled by listening to you. As I said at the beginning, every day is a school day, and we learn from our patients. Unfortunately, we spend most of our time speaking to our colleagues, reading our journals and webinars, but listening to real life experience is what we lack on, and we learn from you. We know how to talk to our patients. We know what goes through their mind. What is not important to us could be the top priority to them. So thank you very much, Thomas.
Oh, thank you. Well, just one more point. When I had my surgery, Pedro gave me his personal phone number. Now, it doesn't happen very often, I'm sure, but so I appreciate that gesture. Now, I don't think I ever needed it during my post-operation period, but it was something that I appreciated, and I felt that, well, if I did need something special or advice, that he was there for me. So I say thanks to Pedro for that. You
never noticed, Thomas, that it wasn't actually his real phone number because you didn't call it ever once.
I'm afraid. No, it won't. Well, I won't answer you. I won't answer you. Okay. Pedro, who are these friends of you? You told me they were friends of yours. You're in this.
We never said we were friends.
We
never said we were friends.
To pick out better friends, more loyal friends, to tell you the truth.
We're colleagues, we're acquaintances. We never said we're friends.
Thanks so much for your story, Thomas. Indeed, I congratulate you on being so open and being able to tell your story so upfront. Perhaps the most important message you have is, I mean, just reach out. If you think you need help as a patient in whatever way we can help you, you've seen that we're not that scary as surgeons. No, just reach out. No. Try to converse it and come up with the best solution to the problem. Okay.
Well, thanks again. And if I can ever zoom in again, I will be very happy to do so, and it was a pleasure. So I say goodbye now, and I wish you all the best and every blessing.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Father.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye now.
Also,
Thank
we
you.
wait.
Thank you, Thomas.
You're welcome.
Bye.
You're welcome indeed. Bye now.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you,
That was
Pedro.
great.
Pedro, thank you very much for inviting these very great speakers. Let me put it this way. They're very humble, they're very passionate, and I think they served a lot of the purposes that we aim to deliver in today's meeting. Thank you very much.
We need to repeat this. We
Definitely.
need to repeat this really. Patients are masters for us, are people who can teach us lots of things, as Hassan said. Our patients can be a change game perspective for us in many ways. We're very used to talk with colleagues and talk about papers and talk about statistics, but they are truly
The real thing.
the real thing. Yes.
The real world.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely agree. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you all very much.
And
Thank
I
you.
think Hazem needs to go to bed now.
Hazem is dead.
Yes.
Tomorrow's the journal club, guys. So if you're able to
Definitely.
come, then please do.
Yes.
But thanks for tonight.
We'll be there. Thank you, Ido. Good luck
Send our
tomorrow.
regards to Guillermo, to Dr. Herrera, because tomorrow will be a great day.
Okay.
It will. It will.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye, guys.
Happy to
All
see
right,
them.
okay.
Have a
Take
nice
care.
day. Bye-bye.